Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. Today we're doing a little something different. I'm coming to you from the D23 Expo in Anaheim, California, and we are checking out everything the show has to offer from everything that Disney owns, which is everything. So I am going to send you just back to me in the studio. See you then. Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Limitless with Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, Odin's son himself, Thor from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He is starring in this National Geographic docuseries about how to manage your health. And that seems appropriate for a man who looks pretty healthy. he's a physical specimen. Ask anybody who's looked at him. This is a 6-episode season. Each of the episodes are about 55 minutes long or so, give or take. It's from 2022. So far, it's just one season. But in these 6 episodes, it sort of takes him on an arc of just each episode sort of deals with different things, whether it's mainly this one. I only watched the first one. It's about stress and how to mentally and sort of physically prepare yourself to deal with stress when you're in stressful moments, and for the rest of your life, to affect not just in the moment, but also as in order to do it in a way that will affect maybe possibly your longevity, your internals, to be able to affect the way you breathe, the way your heart beats, and everything else. Just dealing with how, stress has a great effect on how well you're able to heal, how well your body's able to handle any kind of pressure. So in this, he meets a young woman who is a social psychologist who teaches him all about managing his breathing, and they put him through a number of different ordeals, let's just say. He looks like a guy who could just handle that anything, but he's a dad. He's got 3 kids. He's got a kind of a high pressure, very visible job, as much as he enjoys it and is very successful at it, but just living a normal life down in Australia. That's where he's from. There's plenty of stress to be had, making the right decisions, remembering your scripts and everything else. It doesn't sound like hard labor, but in many cases, hey, if stress affects everybody differently. And they do make the point at toward the credits at the end that stress affects everybody differently, and so you should definitely consult with a doctor before making life decisions that would greatly affect you. But one thing they can recommend right off the bat is just mindful meditation. And before you think it's all hippy-dippy kind of new agey type of stuff, it's just about being calm and breathing. You don't have to, realign your chakras or your chi and all. Just breathe. And that's it. You might find it makes a difference. I kind of unconsciously do it. I can't take my own advice because I don't do it myself. But there are times where I just literally go, even if I'm just laying in bed and I know I need to get up and I'm worried about the rest of the day, or I'm concerned about getting this done in time, I just stop and I just lay there. But that's not about me, it's about Chris and what we go through in this first episode. They do give us a sneak peek at what the next 5 episodes are about at the end of the episode. And of course, there's a trailer and everything else. This is a Disney Plus original, by the way, on National Geographic. But you get to see a more vulnerable side of Chris. Yeah, he's still jokey. He still has a sense of humor about a lot of this stuff. But he's they measure his just standing baseline heart rate and just a number of his vitals, and then there's then the psychologist and a number of different people put him through different scenarios that will put his stress to the test, ending with a walk off of along a very long train on a very tall building in Sydney Harbor down in Australia, overlooking the Sydney Opera House. Yeah, I can't say that I would have done it. I'm not too bad with heights. I was. It's just that unattended stuff. I've been at the World Trade Center back when it existed. I've been the Empire State Building. The Calgary Tower. I've been all those things and looked down. Yeah, but I know that I'm not in a safe situation. I get a little woozy. But Chris, at the end of this, and if you want to skip all the way to that moment, you'd be missing out on a lot of interesting, fun stuff. But it's the last 15 minutes of the episode. And in this, before he even gets to that, though, they put him through his paces, and they do a virtual reality attempt to walk that beam out over the city. Yeah, it affects his heart rate right off the bat. It's just stressful. Then they take him to some special forces guys, and they tie his hands and feet and throw him in a pool. Yeah. Can you swim? Can you swim, Chris? Yeah, he can swim. But it's not just swimming. It's not just about getting to the surface. It's a matter of, they put him through a number of different paces where he has to drop to the bottom and then push off the bottom to get his head above water long enough to take another breath and go down again. He has to do this 20 times. And also not cheat, like not do it, like cut it halfway through and take a breath. He has to pace himself. Doing somersaults underwater, doing just all sorts of little things, and you get to see how well he does in that. That's one day. The next day, he is set up with a bunch of firefighters, and they throw him into a burning building with the job of having to rescue dummies, not people, but dummies that are meant to reflect the weight of a limp, unconscious person. He goes in with a number of veteran firefighters, some 16 years on the force, and they know what they're doing, and they throw him in there with them in the building. I mean, it's one of the setup type buildings where they burn it on purpose, and the fire is in there, and it's multi-story, and so he's getting drowned one day, and he's catching fire the next. What's going to happen? And along the way, the psychologist is just giving him pointers, and when it comes to just thinking positively. I know that sounds kind of weak in some ways, like, oh, it's not enough, oh, you gotta think positive, but it can make a difference, and it's part of the psychology of going, well, just giving up, like, I can't do this. That literally cuts any effort you'd make short. And then also, of course, the breathing, the box breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold it, exhale for 4 seconds, hold it, just let it go. And just there's a number of techniques, and some things that I found pretty interesting in dealing with this. I didn't have anything to monitor my heart rate or anything else, but it is interesting to see somebody who looks like they're just got it all, like physically. He is a situation where he's an actor. He's going to be sitting in front of a camera probably for the rest of his life if he chooses to. And getting older means not being able to do as much as you can. And by the final episode, I will give you a sneak peek of this from what I saw in the previews. They make him old. No, they don't put prosthetics on him and make him look wrinkly and give him a cane and a sweater and slippers. No, they put on him in a suit that inhibits his movement and gives him a feeling of being elderly and just having that kind of physical debilitation that you might have when you're older. And it's again another psychological thing to give you an understanding of what your limitations could be. Or are you limitless? None of us are limitless. So this is either coming to terms or overcoming the stress by facing it in many ways. Yeah, the crane thing, walking out over the city, so many stories up. It's terrifying. I can't, and we monitor it. You get to see his heart rate go up and down depending on when he's reminded. They're in his ear, they're talking to him and talking him through this. Him and some of his best friends are there with him, encouraging him. And by the way, pretty much at some point throughout this series, each of his brothers show up. Liam and the other one that was on Westworld. I can't remember his name. Come on. All the Hemsworths need recognition, plus his whole family. I think his wife and his kids all show up at some point. There's some cute during the credits sequence where his son, I believe, has a bow and arrow with a suction cup on the end, and he has a bottle on his head, and the kid is behind him while he's holding the phone up, taking the selfie video, and you get to see what happens when the kid pulls that bow and lets it go. And does he shoot Daddy in the head, or does he actually knock off the bottle? It's fun. It's cute. But yeah, this could give you a number of, if you deal with stress all the time, this is not meant to be in place of actual medical advice in any way. Anything I'm saying, definitely not medical advice, but it might give you inspiration to maybe try some new things. And if you're dealing with stress in your life and just not going well, you can see how some techniques, and they explain all the reasons why, how our body works, how it reacts to different things, to stress, and to just how we breathe and how we move and everything else, and how we can improve that to live longer, live healthier, live better. It's not guaranteed, but it's always good to give yourself a shot. So, and hey, Chris gets to take his shirt off a number of times. In fact, it's demanded of him in the very first scene. Of course, they throw him in a pool, he's got to be shirtless. He's wearing a shirt in the firehouse when they're burning stuff. So, sorry. But yeah, I say check it out. If you're a fan of Chris, if you're a fan of these kind of documentaries that could give you some interesting insights. And this is the kind of thing that normally, like in the 90s, would have been like a reality show. Let's throw Chris Hemsworth on top of a building and see how far he goes before he plummets to his death. No. By the way, he is cabled up. He's got cameras on his head and his hand, and there's helicopter flying around getting the long shot. And so you got these GoPros on him, and you get to see from his point of view. Even if he's not looking down, you get to see his point of view as he's going out. And I'm like, go, Chris. I am glad I'm sitting and watching it on TV. So, on Disney Plus. So yeah, this is, if you can handle this kind of stress, just watching Chris Hemsworth go through this stuff, definitely check it out. It seems like he's put through his paces in a number of different ways that makes this first episode look like nothing. So yeah, this is a good starting point, but you might get a kick out of it. So check it out. Let's pick tomorrow's episode. 262 is almost the very end of the list. I only have 265 this quarter to go through. Oh, wow. I've just missed a bunch of X-Men movies. But we got a Y, and this is a short. So, man, we got a documentary, a short. Yeah, we're at D23 Expo this week. I should say, if you didn't already know. So, yeah. We're going to be watching, possibly, I'm pretty sure it's a classic. I don't know, but it's a short starring Mickey Mouse. It's called Ye Olden Days. So this is what we're watching next. Mickey Mouse in Ye Olden Days on the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.